The Chicago Bears take on the powerhouse, I can't believe I'm saying that, but powerhouse Detroit Lions this Sunday at Ford Field. Can the return of Justin Fields make the Bears miraculously win? Watch this video to hear my thoughts. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears pregame prediction video, which I'll be doing before every single Bears game this year. Subscribe to my channel if you guys want my thoughts before and after each Bears game. And it's already week 11. The season is kind of coming to a close, guys. We only have 7 games left, which it seems kind of crazy to say that. The season's been a very rough one for the Bears, but it's kind of gone by in a flash at the same time. And now we get QB1 back. Okay, Justin Fields officially is going to be back for this game. We thought the last game against the Panthers he might be back, but they decided to play it safe because we had a 10-day rest in between that game and this game, which I think was probably the right call if he was not fully healthy for the last game, to make him fully healthy for this game. And right now, according to reports, Justin Fields is fully practicing, so he will be starting against the Lions in Detroit this Sunday. And man, this is going to be an extremely important stretch of games now for QB1 Justin Fields if he wants to remain on the Bears roster for 2024. Okay, we have 7 games left, and it's going up against a pretty tough competition. We got the Lions twice, we got the Vikings once, we got the Cleveland Browns, who have an elite defense, so it's not going to be any cupcakes on our schedule the rest of the way. And if Fields wants to truly cement himself as a quarterback of the future, he has to play well during these games. And even though I'm a big Justin Fields fan, as you guys know, I'm sure a lot of you guys probably are as well, we do have to admit that if the Bears have the number 1 pick or the number 2 pick via Carolina, there's a very high likelihood that Ryan Poles would be selecting a quarterback at this point in time, just because we have not seen the consistency out of Justin Fields at this point in year 3. And no, it's not only his fault. Obviously, we put a terrible team around him last year. In his rookie year, he had Matt Nagy, and even this year, I don't think he has a very good play caller in Luke Getsy. But at some point, it doesn't matter, what the excuses are. At some point, they're just going to move on because that's how the NFL works. So he has to really play well now in these games and put together some strong performances as a passer in this offense. And right now, guys, the Chicago Bears offense probably has the best supporting cast they have had for a quarterback in a pretty long time, okay? Because the offensive line is gelling together. We've had some good performances out of the offensive line as of late. We have a number 1 receiver in DJ Moore, solid number 2 in Darnell Mooney. We got Cole Kmet having a good season. The play caller still I don't believe in. The coach I still do not believe in. So that's a big negative, but I think there should be enough on this team where if Justin Fields truly is the quarterback of the future, he can put together enough flashes, enough consistent performances down the stretch, hopefully to be the Bears quarterback next year and beyond. And obviously, that is going to be the ideal scenario for any Chicago Bears fan, because guys, if Justin Fields actually is the guy, if we can keep him for next year and build around him, if you trade that number 1 or number 2 overall pick to whoever, the Giants, the Patriots, whoever wants that pick, you're going to get a king's ransom. That's going to make the king's ransom we got this year for the number 1 pick for Bryce Young, it's going to make that look small, because Caleb Williams, Drake May are on a totally different level than Bryce Young was as a prospect. And obviously right now, CJ Stroud is doing amazing, which nobody foresaw coming. But as a pure prospect, Bryce Young and CJ Stroud were not viewed at the same level that both Caleb Williams and Drake May are. So you can start building the Avengers around Justin Fields if he is the quarterback of the future, okay? Trade the number 1 pick for a star defensive player, get multiple future first-round picks, get multiple second-round picks. It's going to be a haul that the Bears would get for that top selection. So I really am hoping, I'm praying that Justin Fields can be that guy that all of us Bears fans have been wanting him to be, and just put enough on tape for Ryan Poles to believe in him and for the fan base to believe in him. And as I mentioned, guys, the Bears team as a whole has been playing a lot better as of late, so we're getting guys healthy as well. The offensive line now is fully healthy. Nate Davis, our right guard, should be coming back for this game. He's practicing fully, so he's coming back. Kari Blasingame, our fullback, is coming back. Backup cornerback Terrell Smith also is healthy, and Khalil Herbert, our starting running back, also is healthy for this game. So we're getting a lot of guys healthy for this game, and compared to the last game that we played against the Lions, I'll put a roster for that game on the screen right now, and you guys can see why we got blown out by that much. Okay, even though the Lions are a good team, that Bears team last year put together a absolute shit squad around Fields in that second game. You guys see Chase Claypool as receiver number 1, Equanimous St. Brown, that's terrible rosters. So This year, the supporting cast is a lot better around Justin Fields, so theoretically that should lead to a better performance, but we will see. And talking about our opponent, guys, in this game, the Detroit Lions, man, they are on a roll to begin the season, okay? Probably one of the best teams in the NFL, if not like the best, maybe not the best. I'd say, Niners are probably better still. They did get blown out by the Ravens earlier this year, but they are 7-2 right now and looking to be on a roll. Okay, head coach Dan Campbell is having a great year coaching. He could be coach of the year. The roster is stacked on both offense and defense, mostly on offense, I'd say, but Ben Johnson, their offensive coordinator, is having a phenomenal year. So this is not the old Detroit Lions that we're used to just completely blowing out easily, okay? It's going to be a really, really tough matchup, probably one of the toughest matchups the Bears have of the entire year, and definitely a little bit nervous for this game, okay? It's not going to be easy in any way, shape, or form. It's going to take a miracle for this Bears team right now to beat this Lions team, but it is a divisional game. Anything is possible in divisional games, but let me break down the rosters, guys. Let me start by breaking down the Lions roster, first of all, talking about their offense. And they rank number 6 in points scored per game, number 2 in yards gain per game, number 4 passing attack, and number 4 run game. And their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, is in high demand right now among the NFL. Okay, if you ask any fan base in the NFL right now, it seems like every fan base wants their team to hire Ben Johnson to be their next head coach because that's how much success he's been having with the Detroit Lions. Okay, the Lions under him have been a top 5 offense every single game. Basically, he's been calling plays, and he's very, very creative. He does a lot of different things. He's not very one-dimensional. Like, his offense, you guys can see, is both elite in running and passing the football, partly because of how good of a scheme designer he is, good play designer he is. So he's going to keep the Bears defense on their toes, and it's definitely going to be the toughest offensive coordinator we have gone up against up to this point, and certainly a tough matchup for Matt Eberflus as a defensive mind. And talking about their offensive line, guys, this is probably the best offensive line in all of football. It's not going to be an easy matchup for a Bears defensive line that has struggled a lot at times this year. Okay, they got Penei Sewell on the right side, who's been an absolute beast, probably one of the best offensive linemen in all of football. They got Frank Ragnow in the middle at center. They got Taylor Decker on the left side at left tackle. They got really, really good guys basically at every single position on this offensive line. They're coached up really well as well. So, Jared Goff has only been sacked 15 times the entire year. That could be a problem for a Bears defense that has struggled to get after the quarterback. Okay, it's going to be very, very tough to get pressure on Jared Goff, especially with how quick of a release Jared Goff has as well. And talking about Jared Goff, guys, he's having one of the best years of his NFL career. Okay, if I pull up Jared Goff's stats, 2,507 passing yards, 14 passing touchdowns, 5 interceptions, only high completion percentage of 68.4. So he's having a really, really good year because he has a good offensive line, he has good playmakers, and really smart offensive play caller like he had with the Rams when he had that success with the Rams. So definitely not, going to be an easy quarterback we're going up against either, because he is a veteran that knows how to get rid of the ball, how to make decisions quickly. Is going to make the Bears pay if they give him too much time in the pocket. And talking about the Lions playmakers, guys, they have playmakers all over this team. Okay, first of all, they have a thunder and lightning duo in David Montgomery, who us Bears fans know obviously pretty well, and drafted running back Jahmyr Gibbs out of Alabama. David Montgomery is the physical, bruising guy who has 7 touchdowns on the year, a fantastic player in the red zone especially, and Jahmyr Gibbs has been lighting it up as of late as well as a receiving back, with that electric speed and the run after the catch ability that he does have in the open field. And talking about the receivers, guys, the receivers also have been really, really good, okay? Amon-Ra St. Brown has been having a fantastic season. He has 821 yards on the season. He can work all over the field, especially really, really good in the slot. Very quick release that he has, very good change of direction. So he's going to be a problem. They also drafted a tight end, Sam Laporta, out of Iowa, who you guys probably know he's been on fire to begin his NFL career. He has 474 yards on the season already, and for tight ends, that's not very common. So he's another guy that can get some yards after the catch and really stretch the field with his dynamic athletic ability. And Jameson Williams, who they drafted early a couple years ago now, like, he has not been a big factor on this Lions offense yet, but he does have the game-breaking speed to his game. So if the Lions do send him on a streak down the field or use him as a runner on a jet sweep or something, the Bears defense has to be careful not to let that turn into a big explosive chunk play. So That's the Lions offense. They're elite all around, top 5 offense right now. It's going to be a very, very big challenge for the Bears defense to go up against that offense. But talking about the Lions defense now, not as good there, but still pretty good in certain categories. They rank number 21 in points allowed per game, number 9 in yards allowed per game, number 20 passing defense, and number 3 run defense. And the big, big star on this defense right now is Aiden Hutchinson, okay? The guy that they drafted last year at number 2 overall. He has blossomed into an actual full-blown star at this point, okay? He has 54 pressures on the season up to this point this year, which ranks top 5 among all edge rushers. So he's a guy that gave Fields some problems last year. Like last year, he had that pick in the second game. He also sacked Fields multiple times last year. So definitely going to be an interesting Michigan versus Ohio State rivalry there. Aiden Hutchinson going up against Ohio State Buckeye Justin Fields. He's a really, really good pass rusher that's going to be looking to take Justin Fields' head off, because that's the type of mentality that he has. And talking about the rest of this Lions defense, though, their D-line has had some moments of weakness here and there. They don't have, I'd say like other superstars like Aiden Hutchinson, but they have been good enough at times where their run defense ranks really, really good. Obviously, number 3 against the run, so they have been able to penetrate those gaps and not allow too many rushing yards on the season. And Iowa linebacker Jack Campbell has definitely played a role in that. Also, Alex Anzalone, the other linebacker, has been having a pretty good year as well. So they're pretty solid in the front 7 in terms of run defense. They don't really allow that many yards after contact. They're strong physical tacklers, which is what Dan Campbell really does embody, on this team. So D-line is pretty decent, but the secondary, I will say, has struggled at times this year, okay? They're allowing a lot of yards through the air, and they have some young guys back there in the secondary. They got Brian Branch. He's been playing pretty good this year, but obviously young players at times do make some mistakes. They got Kirby Joseph there on the second year as well, another young player. So they got some talented guys in the secondary, but at times the secondary has not really come together to be a really good one, okay? They're allowing the 20th most passing yards on the season up to this point. And a big, big emphasis I want to make here with the Lions defense is that they struggled a lot against the Ravens offense, which had a very dynamic and mobile quarterback in Lamar Jackson. Now, obviously Lamar is a former MVP that's had a lot more success in this league than Fields has, but Fields also is a dynamic and mobile quarterback that has deep ball throwing abilities just like Lamar Jackson does. So maybe to some extent the Bears could replicate the Ravens game plan in that game and run some of the same runs that the Ravens ran for Lamar Jackson in that game, run some of the same deep concepts. Obviously, we don't have the same playbook, but some of the same concepts you can, see what the Lions defense struggled against and use that to your benefit if you are Luke Getsy. Talking about the Chicago Bears now, though, I'll talk about their offense first of all. They rank number 19 in points scored per game, number 20 in yards gained per game, number 24 passing attack, and number 5 run game. And obviously the return of Justin Fields changes the entire Bears offense. Okay, with Tyson Bagent, the Bears were a short passing team that got the ball out super quick. We did not allow many sacks, which was a big positive. Tyson Bagent barely got sacked during his time starting with the Bears, but the big plays were not there at all on this offense. They struggled to move the ball down the field with the big explosive plays, and we did not score that many points with Tyson Bagent starting. But with Justin Fields, obviously we have struggled with him too at times, but Fields, before that Vikings game, was coming off his 2 best performances in the NFL maybe up to this point. Okay, he had a great performance against the Broncos and a great performance also against the Commanders on Thursday Night Football. So I want to see if Fields can get back to doing what he's best at doing, and that's being a dynamic, mobile quarterback that can maneuver around the pocket, can run for first downs if need be, but can also stay in the pocket and deliver really accurate balls downfield to his receivers in space. Because down the field, guys, past 20 yards, Fields is probably one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Where he does struggle is in the short to intermediate passing game, where it's more rhythm and timing involved. So there's no question, guys, Fields has to be a lot better there in the short passing game, getting the ball out quicker, avoiding sacks, not running into sacks. But hopefully if Fields can build off of the abilities that he has right now, and if Luke Getsy can actually call the plays that benefit Justin Fields, we can see more of what we saw in that game against the Commanders and the Broncos. And talking about the offensive line, guys, the Bears offensive line now for the first time the entire season is fully healthy, knock on wood. Okay, we got Braxton Jones fully back, we got Darnell Wright, obviously fully healthy. He's been healthy the entire season for the most part, but we got Nate Davis coming back at right guard. So right now, Cody Whitehair did get benched according to Matt Eberflus, so he's not going to be starting. It's going to be Lucas Patrick at center, but besides Cody White here, like the 5 guys that we thought were going to be starting this year for the Bears are finally going to be starting together for the first time for this Bears offense, which I cannot understate how big that is for the Bears offense as a whole. Okay, when you give Justin Fields time in the pocket, he can be a pretty dangerous quarterback, as we saw at Ohio State when he had all day to throw the football to really talented guys like, Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. So, we're not going to have the Ohio State supporting cast for him, obviously, and it's going to be better competition he's going up against. But I do think if this offensive line can be playing as good as they have played at times this season, Fields could have a pretty decent game because he does thrive when that protection is there. And lastly, I do want to talk about Cole Kmet pretty briefly because Cole Kmet has really blossomed into being a featured piece on this offense. He has 419 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns, which is on pace for being the best year of his NFL career. He's been really, really reliable as a pass catcher. He does not have a single drop pass the entire year. He's been a big target, obviously, in the red zone. He's a big body, physical guy that last year against the Lions, he did score multiple touchdowns in that first game. So be on the lookout for Cole Kmet to be a big factor in this game, hopefully. And then finally, talking about the Bears defense, they rank number 27 in points allowed per game, number 15 in yards allowed per game, number 26 pass defense, and number 2 run defense. And obviously the numbers don't look that good, but they have been significantly better since week 5. Okay, since week 5 in most defensive categories, they are actually a top 10, top 12 defense. And obviously that's going up against some bad competition as well with the Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young, with the Josh McDaniels Raiders before he got fired. So it's not been like great competition we've gone up against every single game, but still it's been a big improvement in terms of tackling, in terms of coverage, in terms of third down defense. So I really want to see if this can continue against an elite offense like the Detroit Lions. And I do want to see also if the improved pass rush can be a factor at all against an elite offensive line, because guys, Montez Sweat going up against Penei Sewell is going to be a lot different than Montez Sweat going up against the Panthers tackles or the Raiders tackles. So it's going to be a big test for Montez Sweat to really see how good he actually is, how much of an impact he can have himself. I'm not expecting a great performance out of the Bears defensive line, if I'm being honest, because aside from Montez Sweat, we have not had any other consistent contributors on this offense, or sorry, on this defensive line. Like, we don't have star power anywhere else on this D-line. So it is going to be a big test to see if this D-line can get any sort of pressure on the quarterback. They have been really good against the run, obviously. So, against a pretty dynamic running back duo of both Jahmyr Gibbs and former Bear Dave Montgomery, I think they should be able to hold them to not having a crazy performance. But I am worried about how this defense is going to be against the pass, because Jared Goff and the Lions offense has been proficient through the air, and we have to get some pressure on the quarterback. With that being said, let me go to my 3 keys to Bears victory. How can the Chicago Bears steal this game on the road from the Detroit Lions? And key number 1 is going to be to have quick decisions being made from Justin Fields while he's under pressure. Okay, I guarantee you the Lions are going to send a lot of pressure towards Justin Fields, because so far he has not proven to be able to beat that pressure as a quarterback. Okay, the Vikings blitzed the shit out of him and he struggled in that game. So Lions defensive coordinator is going to be sending some blitz. He's going to be sending some stunts in this game to get pressure in Justin Fields' face, and he's going to have to be able to find the open guy, get rid of the football when nobody's open, and just live to see another down and not take too many unnecessary sacks or too many unnecessary hits, because we need him to be healthy for these last 7 games. And if he does get the ball out quickly at times, maybe we could have some opportunity to get some yards after the catch if the Lions defense is being a little bit too aggressive. Key number 2 then is going to be to take chances on defense. Okay, I just simply don't think the Bears defense has the firepower, the star power to completely stop this Lions offense. So they're going to have to be aggressive and take chances at times this game. Okay, send some blitzes here and there. If you are Matt Eberflus, if you are a defensive back on this defense, try to jump some routes and maybe get some balls going the other way, get some turnovers, because if you let Jared Goff sit in the pocket and dot you up with that cover 2 zone soft defense that we play at times, like, he's going to move the ball consistently down the field and score probably 40 plus points on our defense. Okay, we're going to have to be aggressive at times, let our cornerbacks play man-to-man, press, with the physical cornerbacks that we have in Jalen Johnson, Tarek Stevenson, and Kyler Gordon. Okay, we're going to have to put pressure on this offense and Jared Goff. And then finally, key number 3 is going to be to play confident and prideful football, okay? This is a divisional game, and the Lions beat the shit out of us last year, okay? I think the final score was like 41-10 or something like that. Their fans were laughing at us. Their players were making fun of us. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the brother of Equinemius St. Brown, has talked so much trash about the Chicago Bears organization, about the Chicago Bears team. So if you have any level of pride in your bones, okay, you're going to have to put that out there on the football field and let it be known through your play that the Chicago Bears guys are not going to be messed around with, and we are going to go in there and steal this game from a really good football team, okay? You're going to have to be confident and prideful for that to happen. And then finally, it's time for my score prediction. Who do I have winning this matchup? And guys, I have the Chicago Bears going into Ford Field and beating... No, I'm just kidding. I can't do that. I got to be unbiased here. I got the Lions winning, guys, by a score of 30-21, sadly. I really do want to pick a Bears win. There's part of me that still deep down believes that Fields is going to go in here with an improved and healthy offensive line, light the Lions up down the field, and score 30-plus points like he did in the Commanders game and almost in the Broncos game. Okay, that's totally possible. It is the NFL. It's any given Sunday, and maybe our defense goes in here and continues their stellar play. Montez Sweat maybe gets some pressure on the quarterback, and we actually limit the Lions offense to not scoring as many points as I think they will. But just being fully realistic, guys, I cannot predict that to happen because we have seen nothing out of this Bears team to give me any sort of confidence that they have the ability to pull off an upset against a stellar team like the Detroit Lions, let alone on the road. So I obviously hope I'm wrong about this. I hope that Justin Fields goes out there and lights it up, and Matt Eberflus proves me wrong as a head coach and coaches the game of his life, but it's very hard to see that happening with how much this Bears team has struggled at times this year. As for my offensive MVP of this game, I'm going to be going with Cole Kmet. I think Cole Kmet probably has a solid outing. Multiple touchdowns certainly possible. He's one of Justin Fields' favorite targets, so I think he gets back with Fields on the same page and has a good outing. As for my defense MVP, I'm going to be going with Jalen Johnson. Okay, Jalen Johnson's been probably the Bears' defensive player the entire year. I think that continues in this game. Leave your comments down below, guys. What do you guys think is going to happen in this game? Again, I sincerely want to pick a Bears win, but I just cannot lie to you guys and say that I think that's actually going to happen, okay? I don't think that's going to happen. It would take a very strong performance from the Bears and Justin Fields for that to happen. And if that somehow happens, guys, the Bears will be all the way back, okay? If we win this game, I might actually start talking about the playoffs, okay? I'm probably not the playoffs. I mean, we're 3-7 right now, so even if we win this game, we'll only be 4-7. But if we somehow beat the Lions, anything is possible down the stretch, okay? If we beat such a good team like this. Leave your comments down below. Hopefully the Bears win. As always, bear down.